Alright, hi guys, it is AJ, welcome back to my channel. Hello, 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 and if you are new, hello, I'm AJ. As you can tell from the title down below, I'm gonna be doing a book unhaul slash reorganization because this is a mess. It's a mess. So basically, my boyfriend organised our combined books, because this isn't just all my books, this is my books and my boyfriend's. But he organised them through alphabetical order, which was all great, but when we organised it, it was an absolute mess. It took the entire day. We had a lot of tantrums, I will be honest. Missing books and then trying to find space for those missing books, so we love that. There was like complete drama for the day. But we have recently gotten quite a few more books. When I say we, I mean me. I buy more books than he does. So I'm a terrible, terrible, terrible book buyer. Like I cannot not buy a book. The only time I don't not buy a book is when I'm broke, which is practically all the time since I'm a graduate. But yeah, so we've gotten a few more books. I've gotten a few more books, and it's just basically become a whole gobbledygook, essentially. So yes, I did have to move my bookshelves a while ago because I had this sudden energy burst to rearrange almost everything in the room except for my wardrobe and our drawer sets. So basically I moved the bed, my vanity, which is in the corner there, and the bookshelves, and it was hell, like hell, just not great, like at all. Because I've got a majority big size room, but it was starting to get a bit cramped with the bed facing a certain way, and I thought, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna put the bed against the wall, which meant I had to move my vanity, which meant I had to move my bookshelves. So it was not fun. No, it was fun. I was blasting Youngblood and was thoroughly enjoying myself until it hit like 9 o'clock, and I think I just gave up. So woohoo on that. But no, I've come to the realization, as much as I love having as many books as that we do have, and I do love the amount of books, I am going to be doing a little bit of an unhaul because I want more books, and there's no room to get another bookshelf because these bookshelves are completely full, bar a little space for notebooks and stuff. So they're completely full. I want more books. I've got a whole list of more books that I want, but they would have no space to go. So I need to unhaul some books. And I thought, why not unhaul while reorganizing? So, and my boyfriend is probably going to hate me for reorganizing. He's been saying over and over and over again, if you don't like the alphabetical way, then redo it yourself. But I just know the way I'm going to do it, he's not going to enjoy it. I'm going to be reorganizing my bookshelves, our bookshelves, by doing it by genre, and he's gonna hate that, but I don't care. I love him to pieces, but no, the alphabetical has got to go because there's like dark fantasy right next to like young adult, not young adult, what's the word I'm looking for? To kids books like Percy Jackson and stuff. I'm like, no, that does not make sense. I do not like that combination at all. It is got to go. So that is what this intro and this video is gonna be all about. So I have been talking enough. I'm sorry about that. I have just got back from work, I will be honest. So I'm currently working at Sports Direct in where I live, which is great. But I've just finished and ooh, my bad. I've just finished work and I've just come back and I thought, you know what, I'm going to film this video now because I've got some free time. The boyfriend is out at work, my mother is out at work, I've got the house to myself, which is great. So yeah, woohoo! Okay, I'm mostly going to be watching some YouTube and listening to music while doing my books. So yeah, let's just speed this up. Let's just get into it because this intro is way too long. My apologies, guys. All right, let's just get into it. will be honest, all this heavy lifting, it's not even heavy lifting, it's just, you know, oh, my camera's uneven. There we go. All this heavy lifting, man. It's not even actually heavy lifting. I'm just so unfit. I'm sweating. I'm gonna open all the windows, so just give me a second. Alright, I just want to apologise if you hear anything from outside. I've had to open all the windows because it is warm in this room. So, as you can tell, I've gotten most of the books off of my shelf. So, can you be quiet? The majority of the books that left are on my shelves are Stephen King, because all the Stephen King books are my boyfriend's. They're all Con's books. He's a massive Stephen King fan, and I don't really want to touch them because I'm afraid to touch them. I'm afraid of what you might say the minute I touch them. Like, he's got them in this very specific order, and if I get one book out in the wrong area, I'm gonna be killed. I've also left my Sarah J Maas books on the shelves because I'm not really wanting to change them around. I'm probably just gonna change them on a different shelf, but I like the order that I've put them in and the style I've put them in, so I'm probably not gonna change that, which is fine. And I've got one shelf at the very, very bottom that I'm gonna do nearer the thingy. So, but I want to show you the method to my madness, because right now my floor is a mess, but I need you guys to understand the method to my madness and that I'm not just making all of this organization shit up in my head. So let me show you. Can we just take a moment to admire my windows? Because they're just so pretty. Like, chef's kiss, man. Chef's kiss. Anyways, okay, so this is what we're working with. Mind that pile of clothes over there. That's washing, that's fine. That's all the tit that's supposed to be up on the shelves along with the books. Same with that on my vanity. So, this is my method to my madness, right? This here is all adult. And when I say adult, I just mean like, well, sci-fi isn't really supposed to be there. I don't know why I put that there, but I'll sort that in a minute. But this is mostly like adult content, like crime, period pieces, things that deal with very, very serious mental health stuff, you know, stories that you wouldn't really get in young adult or high fantasy or new adult, which is considered kind of high fantasy, even though it's not. It's not a romance, it's none of that stuff. This is all like heavy duty stuff. So that's why I've gone with adult section. That is all adult. Over here is my manga, the manga that I'm going to be keeping. Here is high fantasy, aka otherworld / adventure novels. So, yes. That is like full on, created a whole new world with all different languages and yada 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 there. Or some will be like contemporary high fantasy, whereas you've got a whole new world intermixed with our reality. So those are, I'm just going to call them fantasy novels. Let's just go with fantasy. Pure, plain fantasy. Let's just forget high fantasy and just say fantasy altogether. Those there, I like to call my children's books. So like books that either start off young and then go up in age, like the Harry Potter books, the Percy Jackson books, the Skullduggery Pleasant books, those type of genre. You've even got Narnia. So those are what I like to call children-based books and up. So like, you know, mid-teen. Then this section, forget about that there. So all this there is young adult. That is all young adult, okay? Not including Sarah J Maas, because Sarah J Maas goes from young adult to high fantasy very, very easily. She's intermixed with both of them. So I've left her out of this pile completely. But this is all my young adult section. So that is a win, because I was a massive fan of young adult when I was a kid. Massive, massive fan. But recently, I've really, really gotten into just romance. So I used to didn't mind contemporary romance, but now I'm like full-fleshed romance. So this is all my romance section. I've sort of divided them, not completely, but that there is like dark romance sort of. Then I've got a dystopian romance. These are dystopian romances along with that. I'm not sure if I should put my after with my dark romance, or if I should just put it in for like college romance and stuff like that. This is my fantasy romance pile, and then these are my contemporary, and then those two and those two are just like my favorite books, so I've just split them together. I've just split them because they're just chef's kiss and they deserve to have their own little shining light. But yeah, so this is all the Stephen King, except for up there, but it's a bit of a tight squeeze to get to them. So, but yes, this is mostly all Stephen King. And then I've got Sarah J Maas here. I know I'm missing the first book, but I will be honest, I did have the first book in hardback, but because I had most of her ACOTAR series in paperback, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get it in paperback instead. So I got rid of the hardback, so I need to get the paperback first book instead. But that's most of my Sarah J Maas there. And then this is just the last shelf I need to do to take out. So yes, this is the mess. What do we all think? Because honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about the mess that I've got myself in. So yeah, I am currently listening to Taylor Swift. So 1989 represent, while also drinking my 1989 tumbler. I was gonna say Stanley Cup. This isn't a Stanley Cup. This is a tumbler. I can't afford the legit Stanley Cups because they're so expensive. Whereas a Stanley Cup is like 50 quid. This was 20. So I was like, yes, queen, I'm getting it. Slay. I don't want to spend these words out. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you're probably thinking, AJ, why are you in a different pair of clothing? Because it's the next day. I'm actually filming the next day after completing my bookshelves, purely because by the time I finished, it'd gotten kind of dark out and my mother had just gotten back home from work and my boyfriend was almost on the way back, and I don't really like filming when they're in the house because it makes me feel very like self-conscious. So I thought it was a big no-no. But it's the next day. The shelves are complete. Aren't they beautiful? They look so much better and nicer. They are completely by genre now, which I'm really happy about. So I'm about to go through with you guys what I've done for them. So woohoo! So I'm just gonna move the cart out of the way just because it's just taking a bit over the space. So you guys can't see the shelves. I've redone my cart as well. That's got my manga on. I've unhauled quite a few books I'm really happy about. But for the shelves, I've, like I said, done it all through genre. So this is what I've done. These first three shelves here are romance, basically. I've done contemporary and magical romance up on the top shelf. Then I've done magical romance into dark romance and supernatural romance. And then I've done high school and college romances, and then a few of my favourite books here at the end, because some of them are beginnings of an entire series that I don't have complete yet, so I thought I'll put them at the end so I know what I need to get. And then these three here, I like to call my adult section. So basically, I know that don't take it as it sounds, but this shelf here is basically like just more adult content books. It doesn't have to be raunchy or anything. It can be crime, it can be sci-fi, it can be detective, it can be just basically stuff like that. More adult, more aimed for adults really. So that's what I've got. I've got all these three shelves here, and then it goes from just contemporary adult to magical adult to sci-fi, then to crime, then to real life issues just down here on the second shelf at the bottom, and then into psychological horror, and then classics at the end. So from the classic section down here, it goes up to fantasy. So, because we love fantasy, who doesn't love fantasy? I love fantasy. So basically, think of, so down here I've got The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, basically stuff like that, adult fantasy. And then up here I've got the Witcher series and the Magician series, basically all that type of stuff. Then it leads into the Boyfriends, aka Cons, Stephen King collection, which is these three shelves here because he loves his Stephen King collection, like I said earlier. So I've just made it a bit more neater for him. Don't worry, I was really afraid I would accidentally put like a book in the wrong place of his little organisation that he'd done for Stephen King. I hadn't. He was very pleased with that when he got home yesterday, so that's great. Then down here I've got basically like pre-teen books, so like Skullduggery Present, I can't speak, Skullduggery Pleasant, I can never say that right. Then the Harry Potter collection, Narnia, Percy Jackson, and then it turns into YA. So from this half here to this shelf, and all these shelves here, it's all YA. So I've got my Sergio Mas collection here all on one shelf. I've got all of my Cassandra Clare books all on this one shelf. I'm really happy I managed to fit them all on one shelf. And then I've got dystopian YA, and then it just goes to it's all general YA, to be honest. Like I've got the Vampire Academy, I've got the Wolfspring Chronicles, so just all that type of stuff. I've got the Vampire Diaries, Shadow and Bone series, Spellslinger, and then I've got a hardback YA at the bottom shelf down here, and then after that I've got a little like centerpiece that stops it from after the hardback YA and then goes into non-fiction basically. So these are the shelves. I'm very happy with them. I couldn't be more happier. I mean, I would like to have another shelf, like I said, but there's no room in the bedroom right now, so hopefully in a few months me and Con will end up finding our own place and getting our own place, and maybe make like an office or a little library room. That's something that we both really want, but I just don't know if we're gonna be able to do it or not. So yeah. And then obviously I've got my cart, which I put in the middle of these shelves as a little centerpiece. So the top shelf is basically our photo album, my Kindle, pencil case, any like laptop equipment like HDMIs and stuff like that. And then I've got my 1989 Taylor Swift tumbler, which I'm so happy about, just there, along with my Hero Academia little bottle. So then at the bottom you got my anime here with my Kami-sama Kiss manga, and at the very bottom I've got my Hero Academia along with a silent voice manga. So yeah, that's kind of mostly it, to be honest. And I'm very happy with it. Very happy with it. I hope you guys like the bookshelves. I adore them. But now it's time to get into the books that I have officially unhauled. Let's do that. So I've actually unhauled quite a few books. I wasn't expecting to unhaul so many. I was only like expecting to get like maybe like 10 at the most, but I've actually unhauled 39 books, which is quite a bit for me. So basically my plan when it comes to the unhauling was just to unhaul the type of books that I know that I haven't read and probably will never read because they've been on my shelves for like years. Like back when I had my cubed bookshelves back in my old house. And if I've still got them now, I'm probably never going to read them, because I've had those books for like over 3 years and I just haven't got around to them, which is a shame. So I'd rather want them to go to somewhere else. I am planning to sell these books on eBay, so if you do find a few books that you think, oh, okay, I like that, I am planning to do a massive bunch of books on YouTube, bunch of books on eBay, and sell them as like a big package. So yeah, but so the first few books that I am DNFing, I'm not DNFing them. The first books that I am unhauling are the Cassandra Clare, the Mortal Instruments series. And you're thinking, why are you unhauling these? You love Cassandra Clare. I do love Cassandra Clare, but the problem is this is a duplicate series to the series that I've got on that shelf. And don't get me wrong, I love these covers. I absolutely adore them. I think they're so beautiful, and I wouldn't have gotten them if I didn't want them, and I do still want to keep them, but there's just not enough room on my shelves, and I've decided I cannot have duplicates of books unless they're special editions or limited editions, because 1, it's too much money, 2, there's not enough space. So yeah, but I am selling these ones as a bundle, so if you are interested in wanting these ones, check out my eBay. I'll probably put a link down below in the YouTube video. But these are the only series that I am unhauling. So yes, does it make me sad? It makes me very, very sad, because I'm sorry, but like I said, look at these covers. They're just so beautiful. They're just so pretty, but I can't keep them. I just can't. So the first one is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. So that one I'm unhauling. Never read it, never going to read it. It sounded interesting at the time. I liked the cover and that's why I bought it, but I'm never going to read it, so it's a bummer. Next one, Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but oh well. Never read it, never going to read it. I like the premise. I'm probably going to rebuy it if I do ever want to reread it again. If I do ever want to read it again. But no, it's just not really my thing. I mean, it's a beautiful cover, some nice details, but other than that, I'm not going to be reading it anytime soon. So next is A Night Falls Darkly, a novel of the Shadow Guard by Kim Lennox. I got this from a charity shop. I don't know why I got it. There was an almost half naked man on the cover. I thought, ooh, that looks appealing. I've never read it, never going to read it. It's too small for my liking. Like, it's almost as big as my hand. No, I don't like tiny books. It's something very, very off-putting about tiny books. So this is a big no, and it's going to be going away with the rest of them. So yeah. Next, The One Memory of Flora Banks. The One Memory of Flora Banks, Be Brave by Emily Barr. I remember finding this in W.H. Smith, thinking it sounded interesting, and so I got it, never read it, never going to read it again. But I'm sure someone else will end up wanting to read this, so yeah. Next word is Lockwood and Co. by Jonathan Stroud, The Screaming Staircase. This is the first in a series that I just do not want. So I feel like I got this when I was quite young, and I only read like a few pages and I found it boring, so it's gonna be a no for me. So, but I know someone else will end up wanting this one, so this one's going away as well. The next is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This really sounded interesting when I saw it, but I just bought it for the sake of it, and I don't really want it, so going away. Next is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I read halfway through this book and didn't enjoy it, so I DNF'd it at the time. I thought maybe I'd keep it and try rereading it at some point. Haven't done so since, so it is going away with the others. Next is Labyrinth by Kate Moss, I'm not sure. It's a period piece, a period drama. I'm not massive fans of period dramas, I will be honest, especially in books. I don't mind TV shows, but books themselves, just a big no-no for me. I did get this from a charity shop, so yeah, not much money loss, but definitely not my thing, so this is going to be a no. Next is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I can't stand Colleen Hoover. I can't stand it. I bought this before finding out about Colleen Hoover and her son, and it's just a big ick. I know I'm kind of problematic with some of my readers, like Sarah J Maas and Cassandra Clare. I do get judged slightly for them, and I get why, but I'm sorry. If you do not know stuff about Colleen Hoover and her son, please look it up, because for me that is completely unexcusable. I can't really say much because I am a fan of Sarah J Maas, but I only read Sarah J Maas for her books. I don't like the author. I believe you can not like the author and still like the story. A lot of people don't believe in that. I do believe in that, but in this sense with Colleen Hoover, I think the issues with her and her son is disgusting, and Colleen Hoover cannot write at all. I'm sorry, she can't. I hate the way she writes. Absolutely horrible. And for anyone who is a fan of Colleen Hoover, I'm sorry, but it's a massive ick for me. And I'm probably going to be a massive ick for you, but that's fine. That's fine. We live in a community where we like each other's things and then we don't like each other's things, so it's just the way it is. So this one's going. Next is Dark Paths, The Legends of the Alfar, book 3 by Marcus Heights. This is the third book in a series that I don't have. I got this from a charity shop. It looked interesting, but I've never gotten the first book, so I could never start the series, and I'm probably never going to start the series. So yeah, this one is going in the pile for going away. Next is Frankie by Siobhan Ploser. I think I'm pronouncing that right, I'm not sure. I got this book purely for the cover. I was very much in a depressed state when I bought this book, and it sounded like something I would really enjoy. It is gritty and it is dark, and that's why I bought it, but I've just never read it. So this one's going in the unhauling pile as well. But from what I've heard, it is a really good book, so I do hope someone will want to read it from me. I do hope someone will want to read it when I sell it. Next is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I believe this is a series. Oh, it's the first book in the Witchlands novel. Okay, but I believe the author has other books, I think. It sounded interesting, but I never read it, and I'm not going to read it. The premise to me no longer is, it's no longer interesting to me. So I couldn't think, my brain wasn't braining, so. But yeah, no, this one's going to have to be a no for me, so this is going in the unhaul pile too. Next is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I got this because there was a hype around this book and a lot of people recommended it. That's the only reason why I got it, and I never read it. It's something that doesn't really sound interesting to me at all, so this is going in the unhaul pile just as much as everything else. Sorry guys. Next is Fallen, a Fallen novel by Lauren Kate. Wow, okay. I read halfway through this book and I did not like it. This was back when I had my Angel phase, so aka Cassandra Clare and the Hush Hush series. Hush Hush is one of my favourite YA books out of all of them. Don't get me wrong, I love Cassandra Clare, but Hush Hush just has a grip on my heart, along with the Hot Blooded series. So yeah, but this was just a really bad fail. And then the movie came out and it just gave me a massive ick, and I was just like, no. So I'm sorry, Lauren Kate, but not good. And for that reason, this is going in the unhaul pile. Next is Stephen King, The Gunslinger, The Dark Tower, the first in the series. The only reason why I'm getting this one away is because we already have the first book. This is a duplicate because when me and my boyfriend conjoined our book collections together, we both realized that we both had the first book in the Darkslinger series, and Con has the entire series, so there's no point in having two versions of the first book. So this will be going in the unhaul section just as much as everything else. Next is The Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stothel. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I bought this because I really liked the movie, but I have never read it since. It was the movie that really interested me, but I think I read like the first few pages and I didn't like how it started off from the guy's perspective, I believe. Let me have a look. Is it? Yeah, I think this was like, it started off from the guy's perspective and it just really put me off, and that's why it's going in the whole section. Sorry if anyone likes this book, but it's a no for me. Okay, the next few books is a series, and I'm really upset to send these away because I really do like the premise of it, but it's a period piece and I do not like period pieces, I reiterate. It is the Dark Days Club series. So it's these, if I can get my other, these three. Ooh. It's these three books, which is The Dark Days Club, The Dark Days Pact, and The Dark Days Deceit. It is a very, very interesting premise. It's based in the 1800s, I believe, where you have this lady in waiting who finds out that she can see demons and stuff, I think. And then she goes along with this guy who helps her hunt demons, I think. Something along the lines of that. But it's a very interesting... that's it. Duchess or Demon Slayer, does Lady Helen have a choice? That's what it is. That's what it is. But it's a very interesting premise, but I've never really gotten around to reading them. I'm not sure if I want to keep them. It's a massive question mark for these because they do sound interesting, but like I said, I'm not really into period pieces, but I do like the supernatural aspect. It kind of reminds me of the Infernal Devices, and I like the Infernal Devices, so I don't know if I should keep them or not. I am putting these to the side at near my Unhaul selection, just because I don't need them, and I have never read them out of the 4 years that I've had them, but they sound so interesting. So I'm not quite sure yet with these ones, I will be honest. Okay, next I've got Blood Ties from the book from... Okay, next I've got Blood Ties from the Castings trilogy. It is book 1 by Pamela Freeman. I believe it's just like a fantasy adventure. I bought it from a charity shop. Sounded interesting. It was cheap, but I'm never going to read it. I've never read it. I think I've had this for like 3 years now, and it's not really my thing. So yeah, I'm going to have to put this one in the Unhaul selection. It is Malice by John Gwain. I believe this is part of a series. I got this from a charity shop because it's still got the price up there for $1.99. I got this purely because it's from a charity shop, but I had heard some good stuff about the series, so that's why I got it. But I haven't read it since, and I'm not going to be reading it anytime since. So, going in the Unhaul selection. Next is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I am not a massive fan of John Green at all. I know, like, for the young teenagers, John Green was like a massive thing back in the day. But I never liked him. I never liked any of his movies, any of his other books. I was gifted this, I believe. I didn't buy it myself. I can't remember who gifted me this, but it's just really not my thing. That's why it's going in the Unhaul selection. So, yeah. Okay, next is Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi. Adeyemi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I am so sorry. I really did like the premise of this when I first found it. It says, they killed my mother, they took our magic, they tried to bury us. Now we rise. Honestly, it sounded so amazing. And I read the first few pages and I just didn't vibe with it. I don't know why. Sometimes you just sometimes you just buy something because you think, okay, that is something that sounds like I'm going to like it. And then you read some of it and it's like, I'm actually not liking this. It might be just because I read a few pages and I didn't read halfway through or something. I don't know, but I just wasn't vibing with it. So I do apologize for that to anyone who does like this book. So yeah, my apologies. But this is going in the Unhaul selection just as much as everything else. Next is The Pagan Knight by Tim Arkers. This is the first book out of the Hollowed War series. Again, this is an adult fantasy adventure. I bought it from a charity shop. Again, it sounded interesting and it still does sound kind of interesting. I do love high fantasy quite a bit. I love other worlds and warriors and all that type of stuff, but I've never read this and I don't think I want to read it. I don't know why, but the front cover is really off-putting. I don't know, but sue me. But this is going in the Unhaul selection just as much as everything else is. Next thing that I'm hauling is Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I got this because it sounded really, really cool. If you don't know, I'm Arab. I'm half Arab, but I'm Arab. Half of my family comes from Algeria, so technically I'm Northern African / Middle Eastern. A lot of people don't believe it, but I am. And I got this because it gave very much Aladdin vibes, and I adored Aladdin growing up. It was the only form of representation I had growing up, and I adored Aladdin, and I got this because it gave sort of Aladdin vibes. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to get it, I'm going to read it, and I'm going to love it. But I haven't read it since, and I don't think I'm going to read it. Not because I'm not appreciative of it or anything, but it's a bit too... Not me, really. Next, I am unhauling We Are Blood and Thunder by Kiso Lupo. Ooh, I think I've got the receipt in there. Oh no, I've got a Mackey's thing in there. I've got a Mackey's. Let's see when I got this. Offer valid until 31st of May 2019. Brilliant. But yes, I'm unhauling We Are Blood and Thunder by Kiso Lupo. Sounded interesting at the time, but not really my thing anymore. So yeah, again, unhauling. I can't help it if something's no longer my thing. So next is a two-parter. Two-parter? No, it's not. Next is 2 books from a long series by Garth Nix, Sabriel and Clariel. I don't know why I got them. Didn't really sound like my thing, but I heard people liking them, and I thought, oh, okay, if other people like them, then I'm gonna like them. But no, not at all. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the next one I'm unhauling is Aragon by Christopher Poloni in the Inheritance Cycle. This is the book 1 from the series. I got this while I was in Tenerife. So I remember one summer I went home to Tenerife, and we were staying at this hotel, and in this hotel there were books under the TV stand, and this was in it. And Mum was like, just take it. If you like it, just take it. And I took it. But I don't get me wrong, I like the movie of Aragon, but it's not really my thing. Don't get me wrong, I love dragons and everything like that, but this series itself doesn't really appeal to me in any way. So this is going to be going in the Unhaul section just as much as everything else. Next is Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. I read this in school. I bought this for school and we read it in school, and I remember really liking it with the roles reversed, you know, with the patriarchy, the economical system between someone who's black and someone who's white, and intermixed with privilege and money and all that type of stuff. What if white people were the suppressed? What if black people were the ones that were better off and privileged? And I really did enjoy the premise and everything with it. But this is one, if this was just one book, I would say, yeah, I love it. But it's one out of a series, if you didn't know. And I'm not interested in reading the entire series, so it's gonna have to be a no for me. But the first book is really, really good. If you haven't read it, I do recommend reading it. It's really, really insightful. It's really, really enjoyable, and it does teach you a few things, especially if you are young. But I don't want the entire series, so I will be unhauling this first book. So yeah. The next book is 3 Dark Crowns by Kennedy Ray Blake. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Kennedy Ray. I think it's Kennedy Ray. I'm gonna go with Kennedy Ray by Kennedy Ray Blake. This is 1 out of 3 books. I haven't read this one, so I'm not gonna be reading the series anytime soon. I don't have the rest of the series. I don't want the rest of the series. Therefore, I'm not gonna be needing this like at all. So I'm unhauling. The next book is Who Runs the World by Virginia Bergin. This is kind of a sore for me. So I think this was like one of the first few books that I bought after I got into reading. So I got into reading when I was semi-13 and then 16. I started reading when I was 13, and I read the Wolfspring Chronicles, which was in my school library, and I was absolutely obsessed with it. I hadn't really read before then or after I read the Wolfspring Chronicles, and then I read Hush, and I fell in love, and I got into reading, and this was the first book that I officially bought for myself. But it's not really my thing at all. I think it's kind of dystopian, where there's no men. I don't know, but not my thing, so this is going. And the last but not least is The 12 Kings by Bradley Ballou. I don't know. It sounded interesting. A badass warrior female main character, and I was like, oh, okay. Haven't read it since I bought it. I've had this for maybe 4 years now. So yeah, I'm not going to be reading it anytime soon. So it's going in the Unhaul selection. Okay, so I have unhauled quite a few books, as you have seen. 39 books more. So I am still deciding if I want to get rid of the Dark Days Club series. I don't know just yet, but I'm going to leave those to the side. but all the books you have just seen, I am going to be loading onto an eBay account or maybe my Depop or Vinted. I'm not quite sure yet, because some of these I can send in bundles and some of these I can only sell as small ones, so I don't know just yet. I also have unhauled some of my manga and my anime, but I will not be putting those in this video. So keep an eye out for the description down below and the links to my sites where I'm going to be selling them. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I am very happy with the way it's turned out and how many books I've unhauled and how my shelves look now. I'm very happy with them, and so is Con. He's very happy with them as well. Alright, that is it for my video, guys. I hope to see you soon, and bye!